What to do, Aereheads? You're here back for your Monday update. It's the 21st of August already. We are knocking on September's door. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin today. You know, we are pretty much in the same pattern that we were in on Friday morning after that kind of Thursday drop that we had. So we're in a kind of a descending wedge or a flag pattern, whatever you want to call it. I mean, any way you draw this, whether it's the, you know, pennant, the flag, descending wedge, it's still a bearish pattern. It still looks like we're going to come down and tap the liquidity sitting at about, you know, 24K, somewhere around then, unless things change. And we are starting to see that a little bit. We're seeing liquidity come in a little bit thicker above us. So we're going to paint you that bearish, the bullish picture. On top of that, we got some coins that have ran up insanely in the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the coin. We're going to take a look at what could become potential short opportunities with HBAR, BLZ, Rollbit, and a few other coins throughout this video. So we're going to talk about potentially building some short positions and what I'm seeing and how I try to not necessarily time the top, but look for an opportunity to enter into a short. Some of these coins have had 100% plus, 700% plus run-ups, and they're due for a correction. It's going to happen. So we're going to take a look at that today. Not much going on news-wise, guys. I mean, the stock market's right now kind of a mixed bag. NASDAQ about 0.4% up. Dow Jones 0.73% down. Bitcoin down a percent right now. Alts pretty much negative across the board. Few exceptions though. BLZ running 25% today. That's a coin we're going to talk about. But let's just jump right into it. I mean, this liquidity is ripe for the picking, guys. Let's dissect it. Before we do, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and there's my Discord. Give me a try. Discord.gg/Alpha Aere. Let's just jump right into the video. So let's paint the bullish and the bearish scenario for you guys here, right? So the bearish scenario obviously is that we break down this current flag structure we're in. You know, everything looks bearish. Weekly, we're underneath all the moving averages. We've lost them all. The weekly on the RSI is under the simple moving average. The VWAP is sharply down, and we've been down for a while. Money flow is still green on the weekly, but it's coming down, especially after we had that weekly candle close yesterday. Still working off that red dot print. Still coming down on the Stokes and the RSI. So we're looking pretty bearish on the weekly. You take a look at the daily chart and it's looking the same underneath all the moving averages. The daily chart is well underneath the, you know, we're starting to get oversold a little bit here on the daily chart. Doesn't mean we can't come down farther though. However, it could also mean we get like a little bit of fake out breakout to the top side before more downside. But it just feels to me like, I mean, just take a look at the 4-hour chart. It's the same thing, right? The RSI is coming up a little bit on the 4-hour chart, but that was after that huge dump to downside where we got oversold. It's coming up a little bit, staying above the simple moving average, but money flow still bleeding. VWAP's coming down. Stokes and RSIs are coming down. It just feels to me like right now the market's just waiting for another retest of that 25K level. And then, you know, they're anticipating it to be lost. I mean, you got all these stop losses and everything else down here. You know, $23,450 to really, you know, $23,000. But you're also seeing liquidity come in above us. So the market really needs to make up its mind. So bearish scenario is this flag breaks to the downside. I say that's probably more likely. Bullish scenario is we make a higher high in this structure. So a higher high would be at this trend line, about 26.8. We'll call it 850 to make a higher high, right? We flip this. If this gets flipped to support, then we can start talking about building back. You know, until then, we're in the same structure, right? We haven't made a new high. We're still making lower lows. And until then, we're bearish. I'm really not going to spend too much time on Bitcoin today because TA is the same it was on Friday morning. Still in the structure, still waiting really for it to break down. Or if we start making a higher high again, like I said, 26.8 to 26.850, we can kind of change our frame of thought. You know, and then you'll see a lot of people calling for the bottom then, that this was the local bottom. And, you know, there's some weight to that, right? So, I mean, if we take a look at some of the previous history, right? So we had a pretty shitty week here, followed up by a giant green week. So, you know, it's the only time that's happened this year, but it's possible. You know, there was a couple bad weeks here before like a good week and then that blast off again. So there's some weight to the fact that, you know, hey, this could have been our bottom. This could have been just the dump to downside we needed because we got it every single time. You know, we lost that channel every single time, right there, before the pump up. So that's a possibility, you know, unlikely in my opinion, given where we're at in the market right now and the previous history of Bitcoin, like we talked about last week, leading up into the 2020 halving, how this is looking like there's probably more downside leading up into the 2024 halving before we obviously blast off to the moon. That's it on Bitcoin. Let's look at some alts. I really want to get you thinking how to build some shorts on some of these wild coins that have moved a lot. All right, guys, the first coin I want to talk about potential short opportunities is BLZ. It has ran up 172% since the 11th of August, so 10 days ago. Huge run in a small amount of time. And if you remember, this is a coin we have been talking about for a while now in the trading group, right? In the Discord. So it's not new to us. We saw this coming, we saw the pump, and now what are we seeing? So, well, the first thing I saw and wanted to look at was to see if I could find some bearish divergences on some of these coins that have huge run-ups. Meaning that the price, while the price is still going up, the momentum is slowing down, signifying a potential trend reversal. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but typically when you have a coin that pumps this hard, pumps its face off, you're going to have some profit takers. And then I wanted to look into it more, and I found some interesting things. So what initially caught my eye on this was the social media engagement around BLZ. It's not today, but when it, like before it started pumping, BLZ was trending. I never even heard of BLZ before, so I threw it on my radar. Wanted to know why. A lot of times, these are manufactured pumps by whales. I shouldn't say a lot of times. Sometimes these are manufactured pumps. There are companies out there who manufacture pumps. There are companies out there who have bought armies that make coins like this trend. Again, I'm not saying that's what happened with this particular coin. But what I will tell you is when I searched the hashtag on that day that it was trending, it was mostly bots. On top of that, on the 13th of August, BLZ recorded double-digit large transactions for the first time since September of 2022. That's a long time to go without double-digit large transactions. Since then, there's obviously been more with it trending and people trading it more. The volume has increased, but there's unusual whale activity is raising concerns, right? The age consumed a spike to a 2-month peak, rising suspicions of whale-driven coordinated pump actions. So I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but you get the kind of the point here. So it's kind of just finding confluence in potential funny business that at least started the pump. Now, yes, obviously people FOMO'd in. So where are we at now? Well, like I said, we are at a bearish divergence. We're starting to see money flow come out even though price is rising. So we're seeing bearish divergences on momentum. We're seeing bearish divergences on the money flow. Stokes and RSI. So it's looking like it is primed for a dump. It just is in my mind. So we're starting to see a solid line of resistance form here and, a decent line, though not super solid, of support here. So, where does this change? So when am I going to look to enter into a short? Well, a solid rejection off of this line or a solid rejection when we start to kind of come down here would be my signal to enter into a short, pending everything else lines up, right? Money flow, VWAP, Stokes RSIs. We're still in that bear div. So this bear div is going to break down at some point. It is. You're going to see these whales who, quote unquote, manipulated this coin into taking off, dump, and take profits. It's just a matter of when. I don't ever recommend timing the top, but so far, this trend is holding up and is holding up spectacularly. So this is going to be invalidated if we obviously cross above and flip this line to support. Then this is going to go up higher. But for now, at least since the 13th of August, this line has held. The initial pump smashed into it, came back down. Then we started to form this bottom support trend line. Kind of came up. We couldn't even make it up to the top there. So it's weird. We're not making consistent higher lows or lower lows or whatever. It's kind of been a mixed bag right now, with this in there. So we made a higher high. Then we made our low, which was a lower high. Then we made a lower high and a lower low. And then we're back to higher highs and lower highs, or higher lows, I should say. So for now, it looks like we made a higher high. So we'll have to kind of watch and see what this next low does. But this is a coin on my radar. I am looking to short. You can short it. You can short it on MEXC. I've already looked into it. It's possible to short this coin. This coin has crazy wicks, so low volatility. I might even do like a 1 or a 2 times on this, because if we take the wicks into account here, mean, that's a 5% channel, guys. So on 1 times, even on 1 times leverage, your stop loss needs to be about 6% if you enter into the top of this trend line for a short. So just a little food for thought there, a little caution there. So I'm just continuing to watch this coin, watch to see how it plays out, how it behaves in this channel, and watching for it to start to lose it. You know, I'm going to take my short, hopefully somewhere, hopefully I enter into a short off here, although I don't necessarily have to if we start to lose it sooner than that. But BLZ on my radar has had a huge run up, like I showed you. We're bear diving out. Signs are pointing to this being a manipulated breakout to the top side, kind of whale manipulation, you know, whale driven, lots of weird bot activity on Twitter getting it to trend. Just seems like they're trying to exit their positions and use some people as exit liquidity in my mind. Could be wrong on this one. I'm not entering a position yet, but I am watching it closely for a position to enter for short. So that one's on my radar, and RUNE, Thorchain, is on my radar as well. Why? Well, it had a similar run up, and we ran up 100%, right? Since the 8th, 9th of August, you know, about that same kind of time frame, some of these coins decided to take off. So I'm seeing the same thing. Well, price is going up and up and up. The momentum is going down and down and down. The money flow is going down and down and down. The momentum waves are down and down and down. The Stokes and RSI are down and down and down. The VWAP is down. So we are seeing bearish divergences pretty much everywhere on Thorchain. It's had a historic run. I mean, it's had a great run. Some of you guys know I was talking about this coin down here, and I got into a spot play. I've exited my spot play now. I'm looking to enter into a short position. I'm not in a short position yet. When I do, I will update you guys, all, you know, whether it's in Discord or elsewhere. But I'm also going to continue to watch all these coins I'm talking about in this video in Discord and posting what I see on them. Hop on in, discord.gg/Alpha Aere. But in the meantime, this is what I'm seeing. The same thing with RUNE that I'm seeing on BLZ. Potential for a short. Now, this is a little bit different pattern. You know, we've got kind of like a widening megaphone type pattern on this. On top of that, you know, I said last week or whenever I was talking about, I mean, I've been talking about RUNE every day for like freaking a month, right? But I said we need to flip this because we kept on smashing into it and getting rejected, right? So this zone needed to be flipped. And we did. We flipped that on Saturday. So we flipped that. It went to support, right? And then we went up to this next level, couldn't flip it, got rejected. Now look where we are. We're banging right on the door of the previous resistance, which is now support. So if we lose this, my guess is we come back down to the bottom of the channel. We lose that channel, we're in correction mode, guys. You can see there's been a lot of volume in this range here with VRVP here, a lot of historic volume. If we start to lose that, you know, it's pretty light. I mean, we could get down there pretty quick. There's too much market cap on RUNE for that to be a bunch of whales waiting to take some profits on this stuff. I promise you that. People FOMO'd in. A lot of people FOMO'd in up here, even though I said, you know, get in around here. But it's been fun. It's been fun. It was a fun spot bag to play. I didn't even do futures on this one. I just wrote a spot bag up. I'm looking to probably write a spot bag down in the form of a one-time leverage short when I find my entry. So obviously I'm not going to take a short off of support, which is where we're at right now. That would be stupid. That's like the number one rule that you don't do is take a short off of support. You want to take a short off of resistance. And so far this resistance line is holding up, again, with crazy wicks. So you got to keep that in mind when you're entering into positions for stop losses and the type of leverage you're going to use. These coins who have had big runs like this are volatile. Drill into the 1 minute candle. You could have a 2, 3, 4% 1 minute candle. So you can get stomped out pretty quickly. That's why I would recommend using low leverage if you're trying to catch a short on these coins. And they all look like they are going to correct. I mean, just today alone, RUNE has corrected 6%, albeit we have caught support at the previous resistance level, like I said. But another coin that I'm looking at for a primed short example when people start taking profits. So with Rollbit token, here's where we kind of see an example of a trend and get exhausted, right? So we had just a great run. I mean, a historic run with Rollbit too. I mean, from the bottom here to the top, it was up 200%, right? Smashed through resistance here. You saw people take profits here. We couldn't crack it. You know, it faked out, broke out, but it was instantly right back down again. And if you look, you know, as the price was going up, we were seeing everything else go down. So we were seeing bearish divergences, right? So, you know, obviously, but you can see it here, right? So price went right here, You can see it right here. To the next high, it was a bearish divergence. And then it just kind of the bottom fell out. So the price went up, but everything else was pointed to the downside. So Rollbit, I've been talking about this coin too, and I talked about the bearish divergences last week, which actually played out, Wednesday, Thursday last week, we're smashing against that resistance. If you remember, I said if we can't flip this, it's coming back down. People are going to take profits. Historic run up to the top side. So this is how I'm expecting BLZ, RUNE, and a couple other tokens here that we'll look at playing out. And we could still see more downside on Rollbit. So we're starting to, we had a good Sunday. Kind of flat today, but just we're retesting the level of this previous flag here. So it's possible we get a bump up, we retest this level. I'm telling you, we're not bullish again until we flip this. Until then, it's gonna just either keep retesting it or come down lower as people take profits. There's a lot of influencers out there who have been played, influencers out there who've been paid a lot of money to shill Rollbit, and that's fine, whatever, it's a prerogative. They're probably going to take profits at this, in this range up here, since it's been just on a tear lately. Bullish on Rollbit in the long term. I think it's a cool project. I think I'm not paid to shill any. I mean, I got 200 subscribers on the channel. I'm not paid to shill anything, but I like to gamble. Smartly and small time frames. I think the sports betting side of things when they launch that's going to be huge as well. So just bullish long term, but you can see how that bearish divergence played out here. And RBT's down 30% since smashing against that resistance, right? That we couldn't crack. When you can't crack it, people get skittish and they're going to start to take profits after 100 and something percent run up, right? Down 30% since then. So it's very possible that we see the same type of move on Thor, on BLZ, and some of these other ones. HBAR is a little bit of a different monster right now. So HBAR, I'm not really seeing any major bear divs in. I mean, maybe we can find one on the weekly here. Can't even find one on the weekly. So, I mean, HBAR, traditional double bottom pump to the top side, right? So the good thing about HBAR right now is it's being very, very predictable. And it's been predictable since the 9th of June of this year, right? So it's been some months that it's been predictable. So we have a pretty solid level of resistance up top and support down below. It has had a pretty good run up since kind of that double bottom level, right? I mean, we're up 60% on HBAR. I do not really see any strong bear dips. I just don't. I mean, when we're making a high, it's making a high. When we're making a low, it's making a low. We're not seeing any real bear dips. I'm sure if we went all the way back, yeah. I mean, if we so here. So what was this? Let's make that's the low. Let's make Alt V. Let's just catch these highs. Alt V, Alt V, Alt V, Alt V. And let's drill in. Let's see if we got some bear divs here, right? I mean, if we go, yeah, I mean, I guess there kind of is, but this is getting sketchy, right? I mean, obviously, I mean, that's a little bear div when you take that, some on the RSIs for sure, but nothing that I'm too concerned about. Not like I'm concerned about on BLZ, on some, whatever else we looked at already. It's been a long morning already. RUNE, for example, we saw play out on Rollbit, right? So I'm gonna get rid of some of this stuff here. Let's make this a little bit easier to understand. So here's how I would play HBAR if you're looking for plays on HBAR. So you find your support and resistance, right? And I'm just going to quickly draw these. You got to kind of drill them in a little bit better, but you want the most touches possible, right? So there you go. So it's doing what it's supposed to do, and it has for a while now. So you take your long, your short, your long, your short, your long, your short, your long. You would have broken through this. We hit resistance there. As you move your stop losses up, it would have came back and caught it. You're up a bunch, right? Retested the channel, you broke back in, enter into a short, a long, a short, and then we kind of got to wait and see how this plays out. But if it's predictable, you keep trading it, you'll be on the winning side of this. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you, HBAR fans out there, and I'm an HBAR fan too, at some point this is going to give up some before it goes up. And the logical level of retest is probably in this large level liquidity here. But as we keep building up in the channel, it's going to be a bigger and a bigger drop to the downside. So I got HBAR on my radar for a potential downturn at some point before more upside, kind of like we're seeing on a lot of other coins right now. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, right, you can kind of see that this has been a large level. We licked into it, fell down. So that's going to be a tough nut to crack, the kind of 0.68 to 0.7 level. We need to flip that to support. If we flip that to support, then that's going to kind of invalidate this channel. And then we're going to be looking at new market structure. But until then, you know, it's just riding the channel. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I mean, those are the next logical levels up right there. I mean, 0.07717 and 0.09224. But till then, this is a very tradable, fun channel. Again, it's got some crazy wicks. So you got to be careful with your leverage and your stop losses. And you got to get some good entries on it. But it's predictable. And it's been predictable for months now. So I would expect it to continue in this channel till it doesn't, guys. It's that simple. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, we're going to have some downturn before more upturn. And look, Bitcoin's in the kind of the same, was in the same structure, right? It was like up and up and up. You get your little retest with Bitcoin, then you made the next level, then up, then made the next level. These patterns typically, when they're just like a you know, pretty solid trend towards the top side, need that bottom to fall out, because you're going to have too many people who are too long on this coin, right? Market wants equilibrium. So while I'm not expecting it to erase all these gains, I'm not calling for that. Pending no black swan events, no economy stuff, right? You know, it's going to wind up in this channel, like I said, and eventually it's probably going to lose it. We're going to snag this liquidity down here. You can see it's been thick trading in this zone, you know, before more upside. That's just what I'm seeing. And again, those are the key levels I'm looking at for bullishness, for crossing and flipping into support and continuing up on HBAR. Bullish on HBAR longer term. We'll take a look at Kaspa for the last coin. I mean, we've been talking about Kaspa a lot. You guys know I'm bullish on Kaspa. I love Kaspa. I love people behind it, the tech. You know, cited in the Ethereum white paper, the Ghost Egg protocol. You know, we're starting to see bearish divergences here. So we're seeing, you know, this high here that happened in April. And then we got the next all-time high that happened, right? You can see it's lower on the RSI, it's lower on the momentums, and then the money flow is starting to kind of come out a little bit. So people are taking profits. It's expected. This coin's had a freaking complete tear in the last 10, 11 months since we started talking about this. And what happened? Well, we smashed against 0522, really was that kind of all-time high there. People took profits. We came back down and we retested this double bottom down here, right? We made a double bottom and now we're starting to bounce back up. So I'd expect us to retest that all-time high again. If we flip it, we're continuing up. If we don't, we're coming down. But you can see when you can't hit and break through your resistance there, you know, we retraced 30%, guys. Kaspa was down 30% in just a matter of, you know, a week or two. So playing out similarly to how Rollbit played out with its historic run, which in my mind is going to play out how BLZ and BTC does. You guys know I was in some pretty big shorts that I built up on Matic, on BNB, CRV, right? I have closed completely out of those positions after taking some profits over the weekend. I decided to close them and start looking to build positions elsewhere. It was just too much money just to leave sitting out there. I got that off the exchange. It's in my hardware wallet. I am still, these are big plays for me, guys. This is like by far the best plays I've been in all year as far as like money made, right? I still am in my Bitcoin short. I haven't closed that up, but I tightened up my stop loss a little bit here. You can see 257% up, 64 G's. You know, move my stop loss down a little bit. It's above that kind of, it wasn't quite, I messed that up. Right above this to make a higher high. That's where I'm going to start to flip to, you know, maybe we're building back. But until then, and when we're in this current range, that's where my current stop loss is. You know, if it starts shooting up, maybe I'll kind of come down a little bit more. But I'm watching it now. I am watching it, guys. I think that's it for the day. I mean, we got you the shorts that I'm looking to build. You saw what I built with CRV, BNB, Matic. And those are probably still going to go down more. I mean, let's face it, right? BNB is not looking good. BNB is actually lower than my initial call. Where is it? BNB. Right? I mean, this was that large symmetrical triangle that we were in, bearish symmetrical triangle, broke it right to the T, and then we even lost 216, and it's coming down to 208. That's where I was like, all right, let me just pull out completely here. I've you know, let's not get greedy. I mean, that's probably one of the longer coins I've also held on to a short so far this year, BNB, when all that FUD started. But you know, as you can see, You know, we got all this here. You know, maybe we make a double bottom. Me and B's has been bleeding. So is CRV. But I'm going to go on and on and on. I'm going to be hopping on Discord like I do every single day, posting charts, guys. If you want something, hop on in. Discord.gg/Alpha Aere. First 100 people that join are going to be grandfathered and active people to any type of pay gate I do in the future. Like, comment, subscribe. I put out a video every single day, and we do classes every single Sunday. It's not really a class. We just get together and shoot the shit, talk crypto. Answer questions, bounce ideas off of each other, and we had fun this last Sunday. So hop on in, give me a try. If you don't like it, leave. No harm done. Small, tight-knit community, and we're having fun. Appreciate you guys. That's all I got today. We'll be back if something breaks. Otherwise, we posting charts in Discord later.